I did it. I've hit my next milestone. I've lost 40 pounds on my way to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to tell you how it's going, what I've been doing, and we're going to look at the new naked scale scan results to see what I look like now versus what I look like when I started. So keep watching. Hello and welcome back to my weight journey. Today we are talking about my next milestone, 40 pounds lost. Now, it's taken me a while to drop this first 40 pounds. If you recall, and if you've seen it, I did post a video for my first milestone, which was 25 pounds lost. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it both above and below so you can take a look at what I learned for those first 25 pounds. Now, these next 15 pounds for a total of 40 have been different. They've been a little bit slower and I've hit some roadblocks, as most of us do when we lose weight. But I actually came across a very cool fat loss boost program that really helped kind of propel me to this next milestone, and I'm very excited about it. I actually did record a video on it. I'll link that above as well as below, and I'll also leave a link below to the program itself in case you're curious about checking it out. I highly recommend it. I had excellent results with it, and as a matter of fact, I'll be doing the program again in January. But that program really helped propel me to this next milestone of 40 pounds lost. And it did more than help me just lose weight and reach this milestone. It helped kind of set me back on the course to continue down this journey of weight loss. Sometimes I think you need that. You need a little bit of a different reset, a reboost, to kind of get you back on track. And that's exactly what that program did for me. So I'm feeling very confident about continuing on this journey. So it's 40 pounds down. If you do the math, 100 minus 40, that means I have 60 pounds to go. That seems so much more doable now. Every time you see another pound lost on the scale, everything seems much more doable. So I'm in a very, very good place right now. We are in the middle of December, so we do have the holidays to contend with respect to what types of foods we're eating. Hopefully we'll enjoy ourselves and have some fun. But we are in that holiday period, which tends to be a little bit tricky for weight loss. Now, one big lesson that I've learned so far for myself is to be patient with the weight loss process. It's something I should have learned by now, but as time progresses, I really did have high hopes and high expectations for myself that, in a 1-year period, I was going to lose all 100 pounds. And while that would have been very doable, it would have been feasible, just based on statistics. I mean, I could have done that. The fact is life sometimes gets in the way, and the fact that it's a pandemic year, probably a little bit more challenging. Although I'd argue that anytime you're losing probably a significant amount of weight, you are going to run into obstacles, whether those are obstacles you set yourself for yourself or just life obstacles. And I've had a little bit of both. So I'm trying to learn anyway, to be a little bit more patient with myself, with the process, and just kind of enjoy the journey, which is difficult when you're trying to lose weight. How do you enjoy that? But it's really, really exciting when you see the scale go down, exciting when you fit into different clothing you haven't fit into in a long time. I talked about that in my first milestone video, and I'm living it now. I'm actually fitting into things that I wasn't fitting into before, which is very exciting. So I think that's what's part of kind of enjoying the process, is kind of going back in time and saying, oh, this is what I weighed at a certain point in time. And so that's one of many things that you can enjoy throughout the journey. The other thing is learning. I'm actually learning not necessarily new foods I like, but how to cook with and season foods that I've had before, especially vegetables that are, excellent for you in terms of your health. They have vitamins, they're filling, they have fiber, but maybe learning new ways to season them and new ways to cook them. Again, when I did that fat loss boost program, they have a great Facebook support group that has been excellent for me to actually kind of I eat vegetables, but to kind of be even more creative with them. So that's program's been really, really beneficial for me on so many different levels, but that's another level that it's really helped me with. But that's something else I'm kind of like relearning, is to kind of experience things differently and look at foods that are good for you and filling and healthy. Look at them from a different angle and what you can do with them to really start incorporating them into your day-to-day life, and start enjoying them even more than before. I used to eat things like broccoli and asparagus and Brussels sprouts. I used to eat those things all the time before, along with things that weren't as good for me. But now I'm actually learning how to make them more a centerpiece of the plate, and so kind of enjoying them on a different scale. So that's just another example of something I'm doing a little bit differently. Now, my plan to reach my next milestone, which is a pretty big milestone, it's 50 pounds lost, is to just keep incorporating and using these different tools that I've picked up. So the first is I'm going to be doing that fat loss boost program once again in January. And again, I'll link that video above. I think I've already linked it, and I'll link the video below as well as the program itself. But that program is a great, great boost to kind of help you continue on your journey. And so I'm going to do it another time in January, perhaps another time later on in the year. But that's going to, especially after the new year, that's going to help to kind of reset me, lose some significant weight once again, and then continue on my journey. So that's one thing I'm going to do. And then just in terms of different things that I've picked up, like I've been, consuming more water and eating more vegetables, things that are filling, things like that have really helped me so far. Continue doing those things to get me to my next point, which would be 50 pounds lost. And then from there, I will re-record one of these milestone videos, and I'll give you a kind of a bigger update on maybe more specifics in terms of tools I'm using and products that I find are really, really helpful in terms of losing this weight. I'm going to be sharing my new naked scale scan images with you in just a second, but first let's look at the Renpho scale data and see how much weight has been lost, how much fat has been lost, my new BMI, that's body mass index, and all those other figures to see what kind of progress has been made there. Okay, now doing a comparison of the starting weight with the Renpho scale and the current weight with the Renpho scale. So starting weight is on the left, and it was 225.4, and the current weight on the right is 185. Now let's just take a quick look at some of these stats and how they've changed. Pretty conveniently along the bottom of the blue section there, the Renpho scale does do some calculations for me. So it's telling me that the weight loss so far is 40.4 pounds. The BMI loss is 7.1, and that's the body mass index, and the body fat loss is 11%. And if you recall, I'm actually using the Renpho scale body fat percentage. I think it's more accurate than the naked scale, but interestingly enough, both scales are showing an 11% difference, an 11% loss in body fat. And I personally think that's something that's more reliable with smart devices, is that although we don't know how accurate they are exactly, it's difficult to determine that. It is very useful to see trends in how your body's doing. So here I'm seeing that both devices are showing me that I've lost about 11% of my body fat. So happy to see that, and happy to see that they're both showing similar percentages. So moving on to fat-free body weight, it shows the current is 108.6. It was previously 107.2. The subcutaneous fat and visceral fat have both gone down. The visceral fat went from 21 all the way down to 14. And just as a reminder, the visceral fat is that's the fat that is found in human organs and mostly residing in the abdominal cavity. And that makes sense because we have seen, according to the naked scale, the waist measurements go down and the stomach measurements go down, and I see it, my clothes are fitting differently, they're fitting looser, and so it's definitely evident there. So the next row, you can see that the body water percentage has gone up, and that is supposedly a good thing, as well as skeletal muscle, and muscle mass has gone up just ever so slightly, but that's always a great thing to gain a little bit of muscle mass. And then all these trends are very positive. It shows that the bone mass has also slightly gone up, as well as the protein. And the metabolic rate has, again, just gone up just a little bit. It's probably from the extra muscle mass, I'm assuming. And then the metabolic age at the bottom is still at 52. I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do to get that to go up. I'm assuming it's just to continue to lose weight, but that's it basically in terms of our comparisons between the starting weight of 225 and the current weight of 185. Now remember, if you enjoy this video while you're watching it, remember to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to join me on my weight journey. And finally, let's look at our new naked scale scan comparisons from 225 pounds to 185 pounds and see what that 40-pound difference looks like. Okay, and here we are. Here is the new naked scale scan on the right from December 15th, and we are comparing that with our first naked scale scan on March 7th, where my starting weight was 225.3. So why don't we just do a quick spin around so you can see the changes from all different angles. I think always the side view is probably the best in terms of really gauging changes in the body. But here I think you can start seeing definitely the arms are looking different as well as the stomach area. I think definitely you can start seeing changes there. And as I keep spinning here, I think the changes in the waist area are pretty evident, as well as the hips and the rear end. It becomes much more apparent here as I kind of keep spinning, but the waist definitely looks smaller to me. And as I keep spinning, there's the other arm, which I think does look smaller, as does the waist from this view too. So my neck also, you can't, there are no measurements of it, but it's definitely gotten smaller. I do lose weight. The last place I gain weight is probably my face, and then followed by my stomach. It's actually the last place that I gain weight. So the fact that these are the first places where I'm losing weight makes perfect sense to me. So, and the first place I gain weight are my thighs, so those will be the last to go, and that's fine. That's just the way that works. But let's just take a quick look here at the stats below. I'll run you through them. So body fat loss according to the naked scale is 11%. Fat mass, a loss of about 44 pounds. Lean mass, a gain of 4 pounds. Total weight loss so far, 39.7. And I will mention that even though there's always going to be some sort of a variance between the Renfo scale and the naked scale, I did take this naked scale measurement later in the day, so I already had consumed some food, etc. The waist to hip ratio didn't go down too much, actually, just 0.06. Shoulders about 1.5 inches. Left arm 1.4 inches, right arm 0.7 inches. And let me just spin that to the back. I think it's easier to see that. And then the chest down by about 4.2. Waist down by about 7.7 inches, and that is pretty evident to me. Stomach down by about 5 inches. Hips by about 6 inches. And then the upper thighs down by about 2.6 and 2.9 inches. The lower thighs, 1.8 and 2.1 losses there in inches. And then finally the calves, left calf minus 1.1 and right calf minus 1.4. So just in case you were curious about how the measurements had changed, that's it. But I'll just give it another spin here in case you're curious. But that is the new naked scale image. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and remember, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to follow me on my weight journey. Take care.